It's wonderful to celebrate Shabbat with you here. We're going to begin our Friday night service on page 10, Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh, Avarachama, Mishoch Avdach, Eritzona, Yarutz Avdach, Kimoaya, Ishtachaveh, Muladarak, Ki Erablo, Yedidutak, Minofetzu, Vechotam, Higalena, Ufros Aviv Alai, Etzukat Shelomach, Ta'ir Eretz Mikvodach, Nagila V'nismechabach, Maher Ahuv Kiva Moed V'honeni Ki Me'olam. Lechu Neranina, page 11. Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Adonai. Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Adonai. Daria, Daria, Litzur Yishenu, Nikad Nafana B'toda. Daria, Daria, Litzur Yishenu, Bismiro Daria Lo, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Adonai. Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Bottom of page 12. Arba'im shana kud bedor, va'omar am tohe levavhem, vehem lo yadu derachai, asher nishpati ve'api, im yavon el menuchati. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruch shemo, bazru me'yom le'yom yeshuato. Sabru b'koim kevodo b'kol ha'mivodah. We continue, page 14, Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. V'tagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. V'tagel haaretz. Yehiram hayam. Yehiram hayam. Yehiram hayam. Umelo. Yehiram hayam. Yehiram hayam. Yehiram hayam. Umelo. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. V'tagel haaretz. Yehiram hayam. Yehiram hayam.
Yiram hayam umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo.
Zamru Ladonai, page 18.
Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor Bekol Zira, Bechatzotrot, Bekol Shofar. Ariu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai. Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor Bekol Zira, Bechatzotrot, Bekol Shofar. Ariu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai. Yiram hayam umlo, Tevel veyoshveiva, Neharot imcha uchav yachar harim yiraneinu, Lifnei Adonai kiva, lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel betzedek, ve'amim b'meisharim. Yiram hayam umlo, tevel ve'yoshveiva, Neharot imcha uchav yachar harim yiraneinu.
We continue with Romemu, page 20.
Nai, 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 yai, nai, nai, yai, nai, 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 yai, nai, 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 yai, nai, 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 yai, nai, 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 nai. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu.
If you're able to do so, please rise as we continue together, page 21, Mizmor LeDavid.
Mizmor LeDavid, Habu Adonai b'ne'elim, Habu Adonai kavod va'oz. Ay, 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 Habu Adonai, kevod shemo ishtachavu Adonai, v'hadrat kodesh, kol Adonai, Ahamahim el kavod hirim, Adonai, almaim ramim, kol Adonai, Bakoach, ay, 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 kol Adonai, be'adar, kol Adonai, שובר ארזים וישבר אדוני את ארזי הבנון וירקידם כמו עגל לבנון וסיריון כמו ברמים כמו ברמים איי 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 כל אדוני עוזר למותש כל אדוני יחיל מדבר יכיר אדוני מדבר קדש כל אדוני כל היעלות ויחשוף יערות ובחלו כולו כולו אומר כבוד איי 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 אדוני למה הוא ישב וישב אדוני מלך לעולם אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום ניי 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 Nai 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 hi 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 nai 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 ya nai 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 ya nai 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 nai.
Please be seated. Turn to page 22, Ana Bekoa. Adonai, if you would, may your mighty right hand undo the knot that ties us up. Accept the prayers of your people, you who are revered. Raise us up and cleanse us.
Ana Bekoa, Bekoa. גדולת ימינך, ימינך, תתת צרורה, כברינת עמך, סגבנו, צרנו נורא. אנא בכוח, בכוח, גדולת ימינך, ימינך, תתת צרורה, כברינת עמך, סגבנו, צרנו נורא. אנא בכוח, גדולת ימינך, תתת צרורה, תתת צרורה, כברינת עמך, רינת עמך, סגבנו, צרנו נורא. נא גיבור דורשי יחולך, כבבת שומרם, ברכם תרם, רחמם צדקתך, תמיד גומלם. אנא בכוח, גדולת ימינך, תתת צרורה, תתת צרורה, כברינת עמך, רינת עמך, סגבנו, צרנו נורא. ניי 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 ניי
We turn to page 23 as we prepare to greet the Sabbath bride, Lecha Dodi.
Nai 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 Lechadodi eling rakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi eling rakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha rishmianu el hamichad Adonai echad u'shemo echad shemo tiferet Benetila lechadodi eling rakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela ligrat Shabbat lechu v'nechakim ekor aberaka merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila lechadodi eling rakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Mikdash melech ir melucha kumetzei mitoch hafekarav lachshevet be'emecha becha v'kuli yachamol alai kemla lechadodi rakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela hinari me'afar kumia lishi bigdei Tifartecha mi aliyah ben Yishai ben halach mi karva el nafshi nafshi geala lechadodi nirakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela hitoreri kiva orech kumi ori uri shedaberi kevod Adonai Alahik nigla lechadodia ligrakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela lo tevoshia v'lo tikam yima tishtochachia umatemi bak yekesu ani ami benivneta Iratila lechadodi ligrakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela v'hayu l'shimsa shosai v'rachaku kol mivalahich yasis alaich Elochaich kimsos chatan Chatan akala lechadodi ligrakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela yamin u'smol tifrotzi ve'et Adonai taritzi al yarish ben apartzi v'nismecha B'nagila lechadodi ligrakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom ater bala gam besimcha ufetzola toch emunea am segula boi chala
Shabbat Malkata
lechadodi ligrakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela lechadodi ligrakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated. We continue together on page 27, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat.
Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Tov tov lehodol Adonai, Tov tov lehodol Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Tov tov lehodol Adonai, Tov tov lehodol Adonai, Tov tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha Elyon. Tov tov lehodot l'Adonai lechagid baboker hasdecha lechagid baboker hasdecha emunatcha balelot emunatcha balelot tov tov lehodot l'Adonai lechagid baboker hasdecha lechagid baboker hasdecha emunatcha balelot emunatcha balelot tov tov lehodot l'Adonai tov tov lehodot l'Adonai tov tov lehodot l'Adonai lilzamer l'shimcha Elyon. Tov tov lehodot l'Adonai.
We declare God sovereign of the universe, page 29, Adonai Malach.
Adonai Malakehu lavesh, lavesh, Adonai Ozita Zar, Avtikon, Tevel Baltimot, Avtikon, Tevel Baltimot, Nachon Kisacham Meas, Me'olam Ata, Nasehu Neharot Adonai, Nasehu Neharot Olam Isu, Neharot Dokyam, Mikolot, Maim Rabim, Adirim Mishpereyam, Adir Bamarom Adonai, Adir Bamarom Adonai, Erotecha Nemnu Meod, Levecha Navakodesh, Adonai Lehorech Yamim, Adonai Lehorech Yamim, Mikolot Maim Rabim, Adirim Mishpereyam, Adir Barom Adonai, Adir Barom Adonai.
Please rise as we heed the call to worship the Baruch Hu, page 39.
Nine 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 yana nine 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 yana nine yana nine 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 yana nine 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 yana nine yana nine Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam
Please be
Va'ed.
seated.
Nine 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 yana nine 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 yana nine yana nine 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 yana nine 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 yana nine yana nine Umavi yom umevi laila umavdil ben yom uven laila Adonai Tzevaot Shemo Adonai Tzevaot Shemo חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב הרבים.
Ahavat Olam, page 40.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אתה, תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, באורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Page 42. Vayomer Adonai Moshe lemor daber b'nei Yisrael. Lema'an tizkeru va'asitim et kol mitzvotai v'hitim kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem emet.
We continue on page 44. Who is like you, Adonai, mi chamocha?
Nai 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 yai nai 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 nai. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, oh seifele, Nora tehilot, oh seifele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam livnei Moshe. Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru. Adonai imloch, Le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloch, לעולם ועד. יאי די 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 די.
Page 45.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים, אמן. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים, ועל ירושלים, ועל ירושלים, amen.
If you're able to do so, please rise as we sanctify Shabbat together. Vishamru, page 46.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Hatzi Kaddish, page 46.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קירותי בהמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וירומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שם מלך קדושה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה וימרו.
Amen. The Friday night Amidah begins on page 47. This is a silent prayer. Please use the words of the Siddur to guide you or the private meditations of your own heart. For those of you still praying your Amidah, please continue to do so. The rest of us may be seated. Shalom Rav is on page 51. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha,
Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata umelech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata umelech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam V'tov Beinecha Levarech Et Amcha Yisrael Bechol Eit Ubechol Shah Bishlomecha Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam.
May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to us and to all Yisrael, to all who dwell on earth. Oseh Shalom, page 52.
Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen.
Kaddish Shalem, page 54.
Yigdal Grashme Rabba,
Amen.
Be'alma Divra Kirute Be'amlik Malchute, Bechayechoni V'mechoni V'chaydoku Beit Yisrael, Bagala Uvizman Kari V'meru, Amen. Yeheshme Rabba Mevarach, Le'alam Ul Me'amaya, Yitbarak Vishtabak Vitpar Virma Vinase Vithadar Vidale Vithalal Shemere Gudisha, Brichu Le'ela Minko Brakata V'shirata, Tushbakata V'nechamata Damiram Be'alma V'imru, Amen. Titka Batzla Tahon Va'utahon Dechol Yisrael, Kodama V'honu V'shemaya V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shalama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Alini Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru, Amen. Oh, say Shalom Bimromav, Huya say Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Dear friends, allow me to tell you a tale of when I worked at PetSmart many moons ago. Now, when I first started working at the pet store, I was assigned to an area of the store known as the pet care department. Now, this is the group of sad individuals who sell your children goldfish and hamsters and lizards and frogs and basically any of the critters that live in the store. And it also means that we were responsible for the upkeep and survival of these animals, which is actually a lot harder than it sounds. Take, for instance, those goldfish or guppies that you see beautifully adorned on the wall of fish tanks in the pet store. This fish system holds thousands of gallons of water and has to be routinely cleaned, scrubbed. The chemicals have to be analyzed. But worst of all, the water in the fish system has to be changed every so often because the amount of waste that the thousands of fish that live in it produce makes enough ammonia to completely kill them all. So, about every month, we in the pet care department had to drain a significant amount of the fish system. If I had to guess, probably several hundred gallons, and then we would have to treat it and refill the system with tap water. Now, all of this is fine and good because we didn't have to do it with just like a bucket you would use when you're playing on the beach. We had a special connector hose that fitted to a sink in the back room, and with the turn of a switch, it would automatically drain and automatically fill. But one had to be paying really close attention to this because if you got busy in the store and you forgot about the hose in the back, you could flood the back room and spend the rest of your shift with a mop bucket and a bunch of angry managers. How do I know this? Well, allow me to tell you more. The manager of the pet care department was a guy named Elliot. I really loved Elliot. Elliot was a wonderful human being. He was funny, he was smart, just an all-around great guy to work at a pet store with. However, Elliot, like me, was a big talker. So oftentimes he would forget about the hose in the back. And he would flood the back of the store, and we would have to spend hours mopping it up. So one day after Elliot had flooded the back room, he came up with an idea to combat his forgetfulness. Elliot found a ceramic coffee cup, and I kid you not, he walked over to the dog collar aisle and got a chained dog collar. And in front of God and everyone, Elliot would wear that dog collar with a coffee cup hanging around his neck while he did the water changes, which, besides looking absolutely bizarre, made a terrible grinding noise that constantly reminded him that he was in fact doing a major water change and he wouldn't forget to turn off the valve. Now, as you can imagine, seeing this coffee cup dog chain contraption hanging from his neck oftentimes made Elliot the target of ridicule, usually from me, because it was so ridiculous, I didn't know what to do other than make fun of it. So for a good while there, I want to note that I had not flooded the back room, and I was so full of myself that I declared that I, in fact, did not need to wear his coffee cup contraption until one day. One day, I started the water change. Everything was going pretty normal. And then it's like somebody flipped a switch, and I just had a series of really crazy customers. One man wanted to purchase just a regular dog kennel, but he kept asking me questions, almost as if he was purchasing some sort of small home. Once I was finished with him, another woman tried to return a cat litter box that had already been used. While I was dealing with all of these crazy people, I noticed a trickle of water coming from the back door. So after yelling an expletive that I'm not proud of and running to switch off the water, Elliot made me go pick out a chained dog collar, and he handed me a coffee cup. And that day, I was presented with my own coffee cup contraption of shame, which I wore for the next 3 years in that store. Now, by now, I have to imagine that many of you are wondering what the heck this has to do with anything shul-related, and rightfully so. But allow me to ask you an important question this evening. Should we be punished for the honest mistakes that we make? Now, obviously, it was not my intent to flood the back room on purpose. But whether I meant to or not, the back room still got flooded. I was guilty as charged. Now, this is why the American system of law assigns different categories to crimes. If one were to be driving and they dropped their phone or something on the floorboard of their car, and while they were picking it up, they, Beth Sholom, God forbid, hit someone with their car, God forbid, killed them, that is a very different crime than premeditated murder with a weapon. I think most rational people would agree on that. This is why there's categories like manslaughter versus premeditated murder or murder in the first, second, whatever degree. They're different crimes based on intent. Now, what's interesting is the Torah recognizes this idea as well. In our parsha for the week, Vayikra, which starts off the book of Leviticus, we hear about different types of sacrifices one must make to God for various offenses. But perhaps the most interesting to me is what the Torah calls an asam, or a guilt offering. The word asam literally is derived from the Hebrew verb to trespass. And these types of sacrifices were specifically for sins that one committed that they did not mean to commit. For instance, if you touched an unclean thing, or touched human uncleanliness, or uttered an oath and forgot, this is the type of sacrifice that you would have to make for God. Now, typically, in such cases, the person had to confess and sacrifice a female sheep or a goat. But what is interesting is the Torah says if they can't afford it, 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons can be substituted. And the Torah describes that the guilty person would have to literally lay their hands on the head of the animal before it was sacrificed. I think this is an incredibly powerful image. The guilty party putting their hands on the head of an animal that has to die because they made a mistake. Now, as silly as it sounds, dear friends, I think that's exactly why we wore the chain cup contraption in the pet store. Because seeing that silly chain and cup hanging from our neck was a very powerful image. It was a reminder that we have made mistakes in the past, and that if we want to avoid catastrophe in the future, we had better abide by the warning that this image gave us. If you think about it, human beings, we do this all the time. Have you ever been driving down a road and you see a memorial to someone who died at that very spot? It's a very eerie feeling. Now, usually this serves as a memorial, but it's also a warning, perhaps, to other drivers not to drive recklessly in this same spot again. This is actually what wearing tzitzit is designed to do. When we pray the Shema like we did a moment ago, the text tells us that we are supposed to look at these fringes and be reminded not to sin again. So while tonight we are done with sacrificing goats and sheep, and while thankfully I'm done wearing the coffee cup necklace, I wonder if there are other potential pitfalls that we should warn each other and perhaps ourselves about. Are there mistakes in our past that we are capable of making again? And how do we warn ourselves from them? Perhaps it is through a physical reminder like the cup or tzitzit, or maybe it's by having others hold us accountable for our actions. Because even if the action itself is not intentional, if the affect is still harmful, then it's up to us to figure out how to avoid it again in the future. So after I stopped working at PetSmarts, Elliot and I fell out of contact until randomly, several years ago, I received a text message with a picture attached. It was a photo of Elliot standing next to a big fish tank in what appeared to be his new home. And he was smiling, and hanging from his neck was a dog chain and coffee cup. And his message read simply, "Old habits die hard." Now, I'm thinking in reality that his wife didn't want him flooding their new house, so she ordered him to wear the coffee cup contraption. That's my thought. But whatever the case may be, I'm just glad that some PetSmart traditions continue. But I guarantee that you won't catch me wearing that coffee cup anytime soon. Shabbat Shalom. If you're able to do so, please rise. Jewish tradition speaks of angels on Friday night visiting the homes of those who are celebrating Shabbat. And so we will turn to page 73 and sing Shalom Aleichem together. And perhaps the angels will visit us.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ani l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitkhem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
At this point, I'd like to invite any children who'd like to join us on the bima for Kiddush. Come on up. Zohar, Rivka. Who else we got? Cohen. Cool.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pori hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh boreshit ki hu yom techila lamikra'ei kodesh Zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Usually we have like a bucket of it.
Right.
Bucket?
I think
Yeah.
I forgot.
You guys want one? All right, take one. Donate all over the place. Zohar, you in on this? No? Okay, cool. We remain standing. Aleinu is on page 56.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gedula leotzer bereshit, shelo asanu koyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malechei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, she'yonatei shamayim ve'osed haaretz. Okay, nigveh l'chalohim. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Please be seated. Temple Beth Sholom is acknowledging the yortzites of Florence Bergman, Eva Bitker, Jack Blatt, Alan Brewster, Al Brown, Adolph Brown, Gustav Brown, Gertrude Epstein, Clara Fleischer, Maxwell Frost, Mo Gelber, Gabrielle Gronich, Norman Greenberg, Margot Ida Mendelson, Sam Harmel, Kuval Harris, Max Herman, William Jaffa, Sandra Elaine Jordan, Joseph Katz, Benjamin Kleiman, Dora Klessman, Ethel Coulange, Myron Landau, Sarah Ledwitz, Nettie Lieberman, Harry Neistat, Ann Nessel, Michael Page, Florence Premack, Nettie Price, Vera Ratner, Charles Jacob Rich, Edward Samuel Schumann, David Schwartzbart, Frida Spector, Maurice Wallace, Florence Weinstein, and Michael Wynn. Mourners and those observing a yortzeit have an opportunity to say the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on page 58. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divarak Yerute v'yamlik Malkute, Bechayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala ubizman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabba Mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yit barak v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shemei dekudisham b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nekamata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. We now have an opportunity to hear some announcements from one of our board of directors, Denise Needleman.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Please join us tomorrow at 9 for Shabbat morning service, and join us during the week for morning minyan, which begins at 9 a.m. on Sundays and at 7:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. TBS Men's Club next Food for Thought series is April 2nd after Minyan. The speaker will be Ed Lunger, the project manager for the Sphere by the Strip. Come listen about this interesting project. Also, on Sunday, April 2nd at 12 p.m., join Boker Tov Sunday for a Passover wine and cheese tasting, and a big thank you to Kosher Chinglish for donating the wine. It's free for members and a small fee for non-members, so please RSVP to Hillel Ofek or me. TBS Passover First Night Seder is on Wednesday, April 5th. Thank you to all the people who have already signed up to attend. There is still time to make your reservations to be with your community for the first night. TBS USY's Just in Time for Pesach food drive to benefit JFSA is ongoing. Please drop off donations in the temple lobby or with security. USY Kadima has their Shabbat dinner on April 7th. Kadima Movie Night featuring Prince of Egypt is on Saturday, April 8th at 8 p.m., and USY at the Ballpark is on Sunday, April 9th. RSVPs are due by April 5th to DJ Sinai. Additional details for all these events can be found in your Shabbat handout and weekly TBS email, so remember to scroll up on your bulletins and email, and you'll see everything. Following services tonight, please join us for an oneg in the large social hall, and if you know of a temple member who is in the hospital, ill at home, or in a nursing home, please contact the temple office to let us know. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Denise. Pesach is coming. I'm dusting off my blowtorch and getting ready to kosher the kitchen next week. So dust off your Pesach Seder plates because pretty soon we'll be amongst family and friends. Eat as much chametz and bread as you can right now because it's going to be a long one.
And whatever you don't, bring to the food drive, and we'll donate it to JFSA.
Amen. Adon Olam, page 211.
Adon Olam, Hashem Alach, B'terem kol yitzir nivra, Leit nasa v'efso kol azay melech shemo nikra, Ve'acharei gidlot hakol levado himlok nora, Ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh Ve'hu yeh b'tifara, Ve'hu echad ve'en sheni le'hamshir lo le'avira, B'li reshit B'li taglit V'lo ha'oz ve'ha'misra, Ve'hu eli ve'chai go'ali, Ve'tzurchem li be'tzara, Ve'hu nisi u'manos li, Ve'nakosi be'yom ekra, Ve'yado Avki ruchi v'yeti shan ve'ayira ve'im ruchi g'viyati Adonai li v'lo ira nai 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 nai.
We end our service with the blessing, Yivarechecha.
Nai 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 ya nai 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 ya nai 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 ya da 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 yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom Nai 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 ya nai 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 ya nai 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 ya nai 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 Shalom.
Adonai Oz le'emo yitain, Adonai yevarech etamo v'shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.